Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 4 of Monkey D. Luffy versus the World.
Another groundbreaking, beautiful episode of Monkey D. Luffy versus the World.
You know, if it was any other arc, I would be like, what a funny jest. But for this one specifically, I do think this is a groundbreaking and beautiful thing because we're talking about Arlong Park.
Agreed. A big arc.
I think this episode, Wesley, I mentioned this last episode, or maybe off mic, but this is the episode where like people who are like, when we're 30 episodes deep, they're like, all right, what episode should I like start with? Check these guys out. It very well might be this episode.
That's understandable. We got to lock in for this discussion.
So, I'm going to put the pressure on you. I need you to be way funnier than you've ever been in your entire
Sounds
life.
good. I think we were meandering quite a bit in the last episode, but this time we're going to lock in. We're going to make funny gags only related to the arc.
I feel like I've got a lot to say, but it would be unfair for those first-time listeners, because they're definitely watching this episode first. I know you, I see you. My buddy Wesley here, and I'm your host Reece, and this is opposite me is our host Wesley.
Yes, sir.
And he is going through One Piece for the very first time. Meanwhile, I am currently caught up on chapter like 1160 or whatever we're on right now.
True.
This is the arc where I feel like when we started, I was like, I want to hear your thoughts about this so bad, because the sort of the maxim that you'll hear from One Piece fans is not only is this where One Piece truly becomes like good, dare I say great, but it's also the arc in which if you don't like One Piece by now, you're never going to like it, and the series isn't for you.
Yeah. That's tough to hear, honestly, but I personally am happy to report that I was a really big fan of this arc. I mean, I've been a fan so far, but I'm especially a big fan of this arc.
Yeah, I was going to say, luckily you just like already liked it, so we're chilling.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even want to lead this discussion too much. I kind of just want to like hear your thoughts as someone who just got to experience this brilliant arc just a few days ago.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, I think just to start this off, I mentioned this in my complaints, but it's not really a complaint, it's just something that I want to note right off the back. Man, these arcs just keep getting like more impressive and more thought out and more rich and more comprehensive as they go on. And like this was definitely the most ambitious arc that we've had yet. I think I said that maybe about every single arc we've had, but like I don't know, man, the stakes just keep getting raised in such a wonderful way. It's both cool to see the progression and in this arc specifically, just all the pieces worked so well together.
This is the first One Piece arc that really truly feels like a One Piece arc. I think Syrup Village kind of got there, but oh my god, this is like a capital O, like straw hat symbol O, One Piece arc.
Yeah, I mean, if this is how the rest of the arcs are, like I'm very excited, because this was by far in terms of like objective quality. I think you and I can agree that this was definitely the best one.
I mean, pretty just objectively, like I can't fathom this not being your favorite arc of the opening saga of One Piece.
Yeah,
I mean, you mentioned ambition, and I think that's come up several times in these episodes. Yep. But the reason I think it's most applicable now is the way, my favorite thing about this arc, just to like get into the discussion already, let's stop with the foreplay and get to the lovemaking.
Sounds good.
I love how the characters are naturally split up in this arc and are like constantly bouncing off of each other.
I agree.
And then eventually come together in the end.
I agree. I think that's genuinely like the immediate word that comes to mind is just brilliance. Like, I don't want to like glaze Mr. Oda too much, but like genuinely, I think one of my complaints in Baratie was how the characters were split up, but I can clearly see now that like he was putting in the forethought in that arc to make sure that like the way that the characters were split up makes sense for this, and I'm glad that he did, because it pays off so well. It's
such an interesting. Not to tip the hand of Oda too much, but eventually in the future it will happen again, in which the Straw Hats are like split up mid-arc and then will come back in at a later like time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I think this is one of those interesting things where Baratie suffers a little bit for it, but this arc just feels so much better because like, oh my god, Usopp and Zoro are here first, and they immediately get split up anyway. Yeah. So there's like already on Arlong Park, there's like the two parties, and there's Nami who's already here, like as like a third
Right.
party, and like Sanji and Luffy and like the other of Johnny and Yosaku, whichever one it is,
True.
is who don't matter at all.
We'll get into them a little bit later.
Genuinely
but,
at all.
Yeah.
It's just so expertly done that like there's like 4 different POVs we're following
True.
around, and then like one will meet up with the other, and then they'll split up, and then like it's so like good. It just feels so like natural. I think like to tip your hand a little bit on your report
Yes, sir.
card. Your arc MVP was Usopp, and when I first saw that, I was a little shocked. But honestly, it makes sense. I think he's so fun to watch, like in this scenario.
I know. I think one thing that immediately stood out to me about just all the characters this arc, and this is going back to another complaint I had with Baratier, was like some of the characters did not have like their moments in Baratier. I'd say like Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro, of course, got pretty good moments, but Usopp and Nami and some of the like other random side characters definitely did not get their time in the spotlight. This arc, every single character gets at least like one moment of one hype moment in aura per character, and yeah, I think personally I enjoyed Usopp's the most. So that's why I picked him. But like genuinely, if anybody chose a different character or any character at all here, really, I'd think that's just as valid.
I mean, even like not even talking about his really good fight with Chu, I believe his name is. I think just like him being like the weakling little shitter to like interact with the villagers and like discover the like upturned houses and like piss off the fishman
Exactly.
is all like really interesting like B storyline stuff.
And it's interesting that if I'm remembering correctly, Usopp is the character that goes and is kind of the catalyst for why the reader receives the backstory of Nami's journey.
He talks to Nojiko.
Which I think is a very, once again, going back to like the brilliance of how this arc was set up, I think having Usopp be that character was kind of an inspired pick.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's kind of the one who opens up Nojiko's heart, because at first she thinks, if I'm remembering correctly, she thinks he's just there to get like their money back.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, that's our friend. I think one of the things, this is jumping to like literally the end of the arc. I don't want to just like do a chronological beat by beat
you're
thing.
good, you're good.
At the very end of the arc, I think it's interesting to sort of note like, or even just throughout the arc, it's interesting to note what each Straw Hat thinks of Nami and like why.
True.
And like Luffy goes through the entire arc is like, I don't care, like that's my navigator, I'm getting him back, which I think is a great beat for Luffy.
Yeah.
And Sanji is just like completely head over heels for her and is like, I don't care, like I'm just here to save this lady.
Exactly.
And Usopp and Zoro, I think I think those first two are good character beats and like are very them. But I really like what Usopp and Zoro sort of have their perspective on this thing, which is Zoro does not trust her at all. Even at the at the end of the arc, I took a screenshot of this where like they're all like, "Yay, we're so happy to have Nami back," and Zoro was like, like that was kind of uncool, and I don't trust her, which is very valid.
Exactly.
And Usopp sort of has like an actual arc of like, he's not sure whether to trust her, and he has that moment where he confronts her because he's heard Nojiko's tale and is like, oh, she really was just like playing us, which ironically is not true.
True.
And one of the best moments in the arc is when Nami stabs her hand to save Usopp. That shit rocks.
I know. That was so cool. It's such a good reveal too. Like, I didn't necessarily think that Usopp was gonna die or anything, but like the tension in that scene definitely worked for me. Like I was definitely fearing for a second.
I vividly remember watching this like arc in the anime for the first time and being like, holy shit.
I know. It's crazy. I think, to jump around with the characters a little bit and to show your hand a little bit of your report card, you have Nami as your arc MVP. And I think Nami's arc in this
absolutely.
arc, her character arc in this story arc is so good. It's so good.
I think she's just a pretty obvious arc MVP because the way she's like shifting alliances is not something Oda does too much of, like this character who's like a weird moral gray. Like, I think everyone appreciates a character who's like their inclusion in a scene kind of makes you go like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whose side they're going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that you're genuinely questioning, like in the beginning of this arc, like, is Nami a traitor? Like, who is she going to... And eventually once you realize that like she went out of her way to save Usopp, like you realize that she's like cool.
Yeah.
But I think her resistance to getting to that point, even up until like when she's which we will definitely need to talk about this later because I want to save this for its own little section. But like when she's like telling Luffy like I don't want your help, like go away, even like at the very climax of the arc, is so good. Like her arc, as you said, like her arc is genuinely emotional and so cathartic and interesting. I adore
agree.
it.
Yeah, and once again, I think Nami. I was kind of interested because every other character had their backstory kind of given as they're introduced, but Nami didn't. Like even Zoro within just the very beginning of the story, we kind of got a little bit of his backstory already. Nami, we didn't really get any of that. So I was kind of curious why that was, and that also paid off by seeing her backstory in full here. And it's a very good backstory.
It kind of blows every single other backstory out of the water by like a million miles.
That's true. I can't remember his name. I want to say it's like Genzo, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Belmere, like all these other characters that are like from Nami's past are all just genuinely written so well. I jumped to Genzo right away because I really like that ending moments where he had that like little propeller on his hat and then he puts it by Belmere's grave.
So good.
I that was almost my favorite moments. I thought that was so good.
That is like an S tier moment. That was genuinely so like human.
I know.
Peak.
I agree. But yeah, genuinely just everything. I think Nojiko's character is very good. Belmere's character is very good. Just like the way that these characters interact with each other was so interesting to read.
I was tempted. I mean, what's crazy to me is that Belmere is in like 5 pages of this entire story and is so like well actualized. Like she has so much like spunk and person. Like I think that might be some of like looking back on One Piece and like as someone who like has all the information I do, it is insane to me how efficient her characterization is.
I think that's very fair.
Like I have a like shockingly deep understanding of this character who's in like 2 chapters of the entire manga.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of it just felt so like it felt weirdly emotionally authentic the way they were like this like ramshackle, well not like quite like found family, or this like ramshackle like living on the edge of town, like not having a lot of money. It felt like it was tapping into something like a lot more human than like the goofy pirate stuff and the like the high drama of like all the action and stuff would allow.
And I think that really stood out to me specifically because I feel like in shonen manga specifically, this kind of idea of found family or like kind of family characters down on their luck and stuff like that, I feel like that's a trope that's seen all the time. Like in every single major manga that I can think of, there's some kind of trope like that. This might be the first example where I read a trope like this, and it just genuinely worked for me. Like the emotions all worked. The characters felt like they're actually a family, which was honestly like I was surprised at how well it worked.
I think it would have been very easy to make Belmere come off as like cheesy or corny, but like she just feels so. Honestly, I'm gonna say something. She feels a little gay-esque.
Ooh,
I agree. She's a little She's brash in a way that reminds me of like Yuki.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair comparison.
And I think it's really cool that she also just like gets to be cool.
Yeah.
Like this is not like your tragic. I mean, speaking of another manga that you've been reading and I love, Bleach. You know, Ichigo's mom is just this like tragic figure in his life, and to be fair, that's very intentional. Like Ichigo's like initial characterization is entirely dependent on like the guilt he feels from that whole situation. But it's interesting how to sharply contrast it is with Belmere, who's like ex-Navy and like attacks Arlong and like immediately like throws him to the ground and puts a gun in his mouth, and like she's got such like an authentic like roughness and like edge to her character that doesn't feel anime in a way that I appreciate.
Yeah. I think there's been a lot of discussion about, especially that I've read recently for some of the manga that I've read recently, about like how sometimes even if a mangaka has good intentions, like female characters are not presented very well. This did not feel like that at all, though. Like this just felt very authentic and just I don't know, it just felt very very well done.
I feel like Oda really was grasping onto some lightning here. Not quite lightning in a bottle, but like his fingers were like, I don't know. There was something about this that didn't even feel like One Piece in a way. Like it just felt so very interesting.
Yeah. Which, you know, isn't to say that One Piece is the One Piece elements of this were bad or anything, because this was also just like the One Piece stuff at its peak as well.
I mean, no.
I was just gonna say like, but those glimmers here of something a little less One Piece-esque also work very well. I think I asked this in like the first episode, but I'm just increasingly interested in like other stuff that Oda's worked on. Like, I'd assume most of his life has been dedicated to this, but I'd just be kind of interested to see his chops as a writer in other contexts.
The only other thing I know he's written off the top of my head is there's oh my god, what is it called? It literally, like, within, like, the past 2 or 3 months, got an English release for the first time ever. Cool. And it's on the Shonen Jump app, I think.
The Shonen Jump trademark TM official app?
Yes. I forget what it's called, but really funny thing is, if you look in the background of several panels in early One Piece, you can actually see posters of the characters in that one shot.
Oh, that's so cool.
I forget what it's called, but basically it's about, like, cowboys and shit. And I think recently he said it was actually canon to the One Piece timeline, which is really interesting.
That is interesting. I might have to check that out further if it's not spoiler related.
I'm almost positive it's not. I will say I really do love checking out what big mangaka did before they got big. For example, Tite Kubo of Bleach fame has a series called Zombie Powder.
Oh yes, you were telling me about this not too long ago.
Yeah. It's on the Shonen Jump app, and I think it's basically only worth a read because the art is fantastic. But you can see like where the greatness of Bleach is like cooking in there. He's got the right ingredients, but he's not putting them together in the right ways.
I think that's especially something I love for like filmmakers. I love seeing like directors or writers like their first go at things, because you can always see like the glimmers of the greatness that they'll have later on. And it's just cool to see that kind of develop. And I guess something that's cool with One Piece is that it's been going for so long. Like, even just in these 5 arcs alone, I can already see Oda's development, like, as a writer.
I mean, once again, I think the way that Nami is constantly shifting alliances and, like, our characters are shifting where they are in the island and, like, who they're with. Ooh, it feels so good.
I know. I agree.
And I love how the stuff that you don't even realize will come, like, when they get attacked by the sea cow, you're like, oh, what a funny little gag. And then it comes back later that's like, oh, that's like, they're like the big beast of Moo Moo. Like, he'll fuck you up, and then it's just this damn cow, and he's like terrified of them. That's hilarious.
I agree. We gotta love Moo Moo. This is a Moo Moo appreciation podcast.
This is, I'm a great big Moo Moo fan. I said, not enough. We don't like that. Not enough Moo Moo.
True.
I love that design. I'm not gonna lie. I think Oda can cook a really cute little weirdo when he wants to, and I think Moo Moo is a great, like, very forgettable Skrunkle, but also, like, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Moo Moo.
Yeah, Oda definitely knows how to make a good Skrunkle design, man. There's a lot of weirdos in this arc specifically.
Yeah, we try our best to not talk about the arc, like, before this podcast, but, like, Wesley broke code to send me a screenshot of the fish mantis, like, and it was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh my god, we gotta show that screenshot in the in the video, but yeah, oh my god, I was weak. The designs worked for me. I wouldn't even say they, like, didn't work for me at first. They're just, like, so weird. I don't know. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, they're just, like, jarring, but not in a bad way.
I've got a fun challenge for you. What are their names? The 3, like, Arlong commanders.
I know Chew is the one with the lips, right?
Yeah, because Chew's the sound effect for kiss.
Yep. Oh, that's also in Fooly Cooly, I just realized.
I was going to say, I was immediately like, that guy who goes, Chew!
Yeah. I know there's the octopus guy that fights Zoro.
Yes.
Yes. I do not remember his name.
I know his name, and it's on the tip of my tongue. And then there's, like, the other guy who's, like, very forgettable.
Yeah. Because the octopus guy is in... He just keeps getting, like, slaughtered and then comes back over and over again.
It's really funny.
I agree. Yeah, I don't remember the third guy's name.
The octopus guy's name is Hachan or Hachi.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Hachi means 8, I believe, so that's really funny.
Oh, that's a good gag.
Because in octopus, what is the weird, like, fishman karate guy? Sorry, I just looked up Fishman Karate, and instead of One Piece, it said Fishman Karate Drunk Driving, which is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
We got to talk about that off the podcast. Can you send me a link to watch later?
Oh, yeah. Kurobi is the name of the rayfish guy.
Oh, okay.
One of the most forgettable little jobbers in One Piece history.
What's I hate to be this guy. What was his? I remember his design now, but like, what moment did he have?
He, when Sanji is diving down to kick free Luffy's feet, he goes there and starts beating him up and like tries to deprive him of oxygen.
Oh yeah.
And then Sanji has that fun moment where he like blows his CO2 directly into his gills, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
That was a peak moment. I won't lie.
Yeah, and then there's a really funny moment where he's like, "All right, I'll just fight you on land," and then Sanji just like one shots him and is like, "Dude, you're weak as hell on land."
True.
And or more importantly, Sanji's not like nerfed to like 1/10 of his strength in the like because he's in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, fishermen do seem pretty cracked. I don't know how you beat them underwater, especially because like so many people who are strong have devil fruits. Like you just lose.
True. I mean, I'll say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but Baratier and this both showed the character showed Luffy, in like perilous situations because he had the devil fruits and he can't swim, and like other characters had to like deal with that, or like the antagonists were like using that to their advantage. And I think like in episode 2 I was like, oh, I'll be interested to see like if that ever comes back. And I do appreciate that it's like been coming back so often in like interesting ways.
I think it's funny to think about if this was like Bleach or Naruto, not being able to swim would be like not important, but because this is a pirate story where they're constantly like on boats or islands, like that matters a lot.
Yeah. Mr. Oda, he's a bit of a good writer.
Well, you know what he's also good at? Drawing, because I thought the art was also very good this arc.
That it is, man. Yeah, let's go over our little Oda art appreciations. Because yours actually gave me another idea that we have to do about something that we have to discuss. But I do love that shot of them like in the traditional Japanese outfits. That's some peak.
Yeah, Oda's really good at doing fun little cover pages in weird situations with the Straw Hats in.
True.
And I think this is such a good one to get out of the way soon, of like everyone just in cool ass samurai garb, and they all feel so distinct and like them, which is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I feel a little bad in comparison. Mine is a pretty simple shot, but I don't know that this panel of Nami where she's got Luffy's hat on, she's crying. It was just really striking to me.
Yes, it's kind of carried by the emotions, but I think the fact that the drawing can make you feel those emotions is like not something to scoff at.
Yeah.
Like the technical ability to draw something crazy is one thing, but like in reality, the drawing should make you feel something. That's really all it's like for.
Right. That is a good point. That's a good art analysis.
I mean, honestly, looking at like your report card, that little Usopp screenshot you used is like more technically impressive. I love how it uses perspective.
I know. I honestly was kind of flipping all three of these panels around for like which to use where. But I do love that shot of Usopp as well. There's many good panels of him during that little fight scene.
I keep wanting to go to and jump up to the favorite moment that we both share because it's objectively the best moment in One Piece by far, like so far.
Yeah.
Like, but let's go over the little like what the other Straw Hats were up to this arc.
Sounds good.
Before we get to like Luffy just proving why he's an absolutely goated main character.
This is true.
But like, we talked about Usopp exploring the village, but I do genuinely really love his like moment of like, yeah, I'll just like. He like runs away from Chu and he's like, I'll just tell him like, you know, I got hurt, but I'm okay, or like something, and he's got that moment where he's just like so like frustrated with himself and he's like, you know what, like fuck it, I'll just like fight this guy.
I know, that was peak.
And it's a weirdly cathartic fight because like it's so grounded. Like Usopp is basically just like a normal ass human man.
True.
So him having to outsmart this like monster with like rotten eggs and like alcohol and fire was so cool.
I know, I agree. I mean, that fight alone just I think that moments when he decides to fight was like what pushed me over the edge to make him the MVP. But yeah, the fight is so cool. I think it's really interesting to see different like stories have to balance the fact that like if you have a team of like superhumans basically, there's probably gonna be like one or two guys that just like have no powers. I think everybody kind of jumps to like the Avengers as the obvious pick there, but I mean, this is an interesting one too because Usopp and Nami, I guess Sanji too, but he has those crazy kicks. And then Zoro and Luffy are just like gods. But Nami and Usopp are just like normal people, and I really appreciate how Oda had them in combat. It was a very interesting way to utilize their skill sets because like Usopp's using a bit of his lying to deceive. He's got like all these weird tricks up his sleeve. It felt very in character for him.
Oh yeah, and that is a great point. I love seeing Nami use her little like 3-piece staff thingy.
I agree.
And she like hits. I think she hits like Usopp over the head with it when they're doing like the weird fight.
True. She also, I want to say she hits another person that I was like, oh, this is a cool moment. It's like after Luffy and Arlong fight, I think. But needless to say, she uses that staff in some cool ways.
She really does. I think they really did a good job of portraying both her navigator side and her like thief side in this arc. It was like perfectly balanced.
True. Oh,
no, I guess she didn't like literally navigate, but like the way that like they showed all her maps and charts in Arlong Park was so good.
Yeah, I agree. I like how she has that whole room dedicated to all those maps and stuff that Arlong has in Arlong Park. I love that moment when Luffy's destroying them.
Luffy destroying that room is like the secretly like other best moment.
True.
Like he's this is the room in which like that caused her so much misery, and like he's destroying it, and she's like sobbing. It's so good.
It's so good. It's peak. Sorry, I kind of want to jump over to Sanji and Zoro because I feel like they're kind of they have kind of an interesting presence in this arc. I feel like honestly Sanji is probably the one that gets the least amount of attention here, but
that's true.
I think he was still utilized very well. I really like his whole underwater moment that we kind of talked about earlier.
I think Oda had a really interesting balancing factor of like how do I integrate Sanji into like the main group.
Yeah.
And although I would say he definitely does the least of all the Straw Hats in this arc, I think the thing that I think I even noted in my notes is I was shocked at how like Sanji just immediately fits in with the crew.
Yeah.
Like his dynamic just feels so natural. Him getting that little bit with Luffy on like the sea with Moo was funny.
Agreed.
He's got the fun moment of like offering the Moo food because he's like, he's got a good heart, but he immediately just kicks it away as well because he's like, oh, you're trying to eat me, you little asshole. Yeah. And I also do like his moment of like fighting the little fish karate guy. I think it's like probably less cool than Usopp and Zoro's fight, but it's still like good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he did have so many hype moments in Aura in Baratier that like I think it's fine that he kind of got a little bit of the short end of Nami's staff a little bit, but. That's not to say that like he's bad. I especially like the chemistry that he has with Zoro and Nami specifically. I think these characters have such fun interactions with each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sanji and Zoro like immediately have a great dynamic of them like arguing about Nami and like. True. I think that was a great character beat for both of them.
Yeah, I agree. And yes, Zoro, time after time is just the goats. I don't know.
I think the like third best moment of this arc is when Arlong like rips off his shirt and then goes like, "Holy shit, how are you standing?"
True.
That is such a hype and like raw aura farming cool moment.
That was like, equivalent to solo leveling, man.
I mean, I don't know, man. It was just cool as hell to like see like him genuinely like. Arlong was like scared. He was like, "Oh God, if he's this strong, well, he's like this fucked up." Like, I think he's got a line where he's like, "This man can't be allowed to keep like living and like achieve his full potential."
Yes.
I'm like, "Ooh, that's so cool. Ooh, that's so."
I agree. I also love when he's down to one sword. I think it's in the fight with Hachi when he only has the one sword, and then Johnny and Yosaku are like, "Here, we got your swords," and then the octopus is like going to attack him, and he like catches both of them at the same time.
Yes, so cool. Oh God, that was so cool. Zoro can just like I think Oda just likes to like write him as like Johnny delivers the cool moments, and I'm sometimes I'm very happy with it.
I agree. Yeah, he's a great character to do it with.
I think one of my favorite things about early One Piece. This just reminded me. I love how like Zoro is the notable one of the crew, like in the sense of he has like a reputation already. Everyone in the East Blue.
Yeah.
Like, when Arlong is like, oh, dude, this must be, like, Zoro's, like, bounty hunting posse. Like, he's not like, oh, my God, a Straw Hat Luffy, because, like, Luffy's not gotten there yet. He's got no reputation. Yeah. But, like, in the East Blue, like, Zoro is, like, he's a notable bounty hunter. You know, he's making a name for himself.
True. Yeah, that's a great aspect of this. I think it's really interesting that, like, everybody is commenting on pirate hunter Zoro, which is very interesting. I feel like not a lot of stories can pull stuff like that off.
I think stories are too in a rush to show why the main character is cool and awesome.
Yeah.
So I think in a worse mangaka, they would have been like, oh my god, this Straw Hat Luffy guy's insane. But no, everyone's like, oh, this Zoro guy, he's like the leader, right?
True. I was
It's cool.
I was watching the first My Hero Academia movie the other day while I was doing some work. And this kind of has that exact problem where for some reason like everybody already knows all of class 1A after like the first 2 arcs, which I kind of understand, but I don't know. I do appreciate Oda's sense of like taking time with it and being like, okay, Zoro is the notable one here. And like Luffy still needs to like, get that clout that he's after.
If I'm remembering correctly, the first My Hero movie is the one where they do like the father-son smash at the end.
It is not that one. It's the one where you're
It's the one where they go to the island, right?
Yes. Oh yes, you're right,
like,
you're right.
It's when not literally father-son, like All Might and Deku do like a United States of Smash together.
Yes. That is kind of a cool moment.
That's like the only reason to watch that movie, I'm gonna be honest. Is like that moment is really well animated and cool.
I know. Dude.
Low-key, that's all of the My Hero movies.
I know. I was jaw on the floor at how bad the animation was at points for like being a big budget movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you know the story behind... Do you know the story behind My Hero Academia's movies?
Very, very little.
So, 2 things. The first note I have is they actually recently, in like in the last like couple chapters of the manga, the manga's been over for a while now, but at the very end of the manga, they go, by the way, the first movie's canon.
That's kind of a weird.
None of the other ones are. Actually, I think they also canonized the one where Deku gives up all one for all for a little bit. I don't know if you know about that.
Oh, where he like gives it to Bakugo, I think.
Yeah, which is maybe the most cucked anyone has ever been in all of fiction.
That's true. That's insane.
It's like Deku's like, I'll just give up my dream to my bully and go watch him win, and I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. What are they thinking?
I know.
And I think that they also said that was canon, and I refuse to believe that. That's so embarrassing.
That's insane. I mean, what does the first one being canon even add? Like, the weird...
It's the little girl, the inventor girl.
Yeah.
Who I think is in love with Deku. I think that's a plot point.
Like, from the movie?
Yeah, isn't that...
She's
like blonde?
Yeah, she's... I think it's kind of left up to interpretation how she feels. There's many... I don't remember the base story being so, like, Ochako being, like, over the top in love with Deku. But it was, like...
yeah, I think...
It was very much in your face in the movie.
In, like, season 1, I think she doesn't even know he exists. And then, like, he slowly... Like, it feels a little more, like, natural.
Yeah.
And there's just... A lot of shonen writers and also long-term media cannot handle romance at all. So I think they basically just, like... At the end of season, like, 1 or, like, partway through season 2, she goes, wow, Deku is kind of cool. And then, like, never looks at him again except for, like, hints, like, oh, I've got... I think she, like, explicitly, like, has a crush on him, but they never do anything with it. And then... They don't even do the lazy thing of, like, jump cutting to them being married. They just, like, still aren't in a relationship by the end of the series, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
That's amazing.
Sorry, this became a, like, impromptu My Hero Academia season, like, movie 1 review, which is hilarious.
True. Yeah. Needless to say, the writers for that movie did not have the aura of Oda in Arlong Park.
Oh, really quickly, that was point 1 of 2. The second point is, the reason the movies are so weird and, like, kind of bad is, I think it's Studio Bones who did My Hero, right?
Yeah.
Studio Bones basically took their staff and literally cut it in half and said, hey guys, half of you work on the seasons and half of you make a movie because it just gets us slightly more money.
What? That's so weird.
So, post, like, season 3 or 4... all of the anime seasons look notably worse because they basically lost half their staff to make a fucking shitty movie.
Dude, I've genuinely always wondered like why there was a decline in quality in the seasons. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly
Wow.
And the movies are basically like shit except for like the 1 minute really amazing cut of animation towards the end.
Yeah.
And to be fair, those 1 minutes is nice, but imagine if all that manpower just went into making a good season of anime.
Yeah, dude. That's horrible.
Because I feel like they lost a lot of directorial muscle, not just like the cool Sakuga moments. But whatever, we're getting...
That's true.
Speaking of good moments, Luffy in this arc is the LeBron James of being good.
That's a good callback to the previous episode of this podcast.
It's what I do.
But yes, I absolutely agree. Luffy is I don't know, man. He is a goated main character.
We have the exact same moment as our favorite moment, and I think this is a sign that Oda is a great writer more than we are hacks, because this is just objectively the best moment in the entire arc.
Agreed.
Just straight up. There's no argument. If you say your favorite moment is like anything else, I will like kick you in the mouth. Both you and the listener.
Wow.
It just like it feels. I think it's so interesting thing to note. By the way, two things. One, you are now caught up with the One Piece live action. This is where One Piece live action.
Oh, so we can do a Lego review.
We can. I pulled that tab up earlier because I'm dying to talk about this.
Yes, sir.
I would say we probably shouldn't. You shouldn't watch season 1 yet, because they do spoil something in the show by like basically taking something from like chapter 300 and putting it as like the season, like basically the end credit thing, which I don't like at all.
That's kind of like the Invincible effect.
Yeah, but except like poorly done.
Yeah.
But oh my god, what were we just talking about? Oh, no, the one change that the live action makes that I really disagree with is they make it so that Luffy hears Nojiko's little like tragic backstory for Nami.
What? Okay.
And I think it's very intentional, incredibly intentional, that Luffy does not know that.
Yeah.
Luffy does not know anything about Nami's tragic backstory. He does not need justification. In his mind, that is his friend, that is his crewmate, his nakama.
Yeah.
And he is going to like go through heaven and hell and earth to reunite them, to bring her back into the fold. And I think that's way more powerful than like, well, once you realize that she didn't mean it, he was all on board.
Yeah, that's insane. I think a lot of the power in the scene does come from the fact that he doesn't know. That's crazy.
I think they were afraid that like normies would make it seem like Luffy's like a dumbass. I mean, he is, but
that's very intentional though.
I don't know. I think it really shows like Luffy's got a good, strong heart on him.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind, but we're gonna bring back a segment that we haven't done since the first episode, which is I'm going to show you a clip from the anime.
Sounds good. I'm excited to see it.
Now, one of the few things that the anime adds, and I know that every single person was waiting for this moment. The anime actually adds an emotional moment here that I think is really good and adds to the scene, which is a moment called the walk to Arlong Park.
Okay. Interesting.
And I think this is like, it unironically elevates what is already like the best moment in One Piece.
Wow.
That is like some of the best voice acting I've ever heard in my life.
I know, that was peak. That was so well done.
I think the fact that like they didn't have music, just like the wind blowing like ominously, and it really is just like Nami's voice actress giving one of the best performances I've ever heard in my life.
I know. That was so good.
What did you think?
That was some sauce. That music, the framing,
oh, yeah.
that was damn good.
I think it could have easily come across as like padding. I think this is one of the few times in which they're adding stuff not to like pad out the runtime, but because it genuinely elevates the emotions of the scene. I agree. And I even just went back and checked, and like, yes, they still have that conversation with Johnny and Yosaku at the front gates, but they don't have that whole thing about like, we're waiting for those 4 men who will like change destiny. Know, and I'm like, cool. oh shit.
I love that.
Man, it's so good. I think it's just such a like genuinely like, it feels so earned to have that like badass, as they say, walk to Arlong Park.
Yeah, and it really sells the camaraderie between these 4. Going back to like how easily Sanji integrates in this group, like I absolutely buy that those 4 like are instantly connected like that.
I mean, rewatching that scene, it makes me like remember that while Nami is like crying, they all have like the presence of mind and unity to like, they're standing like 5 feet away, but they're just letting this moment happen.
That's so cool.
And they're just like ready. They're like waiting for the order from their captain to like go to this fight, to go like help their friend.
I know. I was like pumping my fists both when I watched it and originally read it, of when the other guys are like, okay, like that's just so cool.
So the music really does sell it. By the way, that song is
Oh, it
good.
is. Yeah, that was peak.
It gives me chills, man. I think that really is some of the anime's best work. Just Nami's voice acting blows my mind. I can't believe that.
I know.
She sounds like she's about to throw up from
I
grief.
know.
They don't make those damn actors like they used to. What can I say?
That's very true.
I think that's gonna be you've heard about they're doing a One Piece anime remake, right?
I have heard about that. Yeah.
Which I think is genuinely necessary because One Piece's anime is paced like shit.
That's fair.
But the one thing that's freaking me out is they're gonna have to redo the entire voice cast.
That is tough.
And I've kind of gotten used to the way that the Straw Hats sound.
Yeah. I mean, I think Luffy's. That was a wonderful performance, and I don't know how they're gonna capture that. But also just the iconicity of Luffy's voice, that transcends pop culture, man.
I know it's freaky. It's really freaky.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the voice actors for the Straw Hats actually just retired for one we've not met yet, and it's very weird that they got a new voice that, his new voice honestly sounds like a good different. It's not like an imitation. It's like its own thing, but similar.
Oh, okay. I appreciate when it's not trying to just be a direct imitation.
Yeah, but that voice actor is a big. He's in a lot of old 80s anime, and it's very.
Cool.
He's honest. I love him. I forget his name, but he's a great voice actor, and I'm sad to see him go. I mean, I think they just replaced Shanks' voice because Shanks, he's voiced by Char from Gundam.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's cool though.
Which came out in fucking 1979, so that motherfucker's 90 years old.
Keep pushing him, man. He's in it. He's in it for the long haul.
He's a damn workhorse.
Exactly. But thank you for showing me those scenes, man. I agree. That genuinely adds a lot to it.
It's necessary. I think it just really elevates the scene. They knew what they were doing. Those directors. I can't believe how well that I think expanding on a scene that feels this sacred and important is ballsy.
I know. I think it's insane that it just works so well. The original scene is already goated, and that just added to it. I just like it more now.
Those four men who are here to change fate.
That's so sick.
Oh. I even love the line of if they can't do it, no one else in the entire East Blue can. It's
that's sick.
Which I think is the perfect transition to the one thing we've actually not mentioned at all, which is shocking. Which is, of course, Johnny and Yosaku.
I actually am excited to talk about those guys.
What are your thoughts of Johnny and Yosaku?
I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I kind of liked them being there for multiple reasons. I appreciate the fact that these random guys from the previous arc, I was just these guys are just gonna leave the story and never be in it again. I like the fact that they're just here as constant presences throughout this arc. It's it's comedic, but I'm trying to articulate this well. It is funny. I think they are funny guys. But it does add something to me that there's these two guys that just met the Straw Hats not too long ago, and they already know them and understand them well enough to be okay, these guys are going to be successful in their endeavors here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they do add to some hype scenes, like that moment when they throw the swords to Zoro, and I think it also goes to show the scale of the battles that the Straw Hats are ready to take on challenges much more than these two random bounty hunters can,
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts? I don't know. I enjoy them, but I also understand they're just two random guys.
I enjoy them, but if I can reveal something, these guys never ever come back in any form ever again.
Wow.
This is the last time they're ever seen.
Interesting.
And that feels weird to me because they have the really weird lore bit of they were friends with Zoro before we knew him, but after he was a child.
Know.
I would love to see how Zoro became a bounty hunter and all that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Literally the only thing we know is that he knew and was kind of friends with Johnny and Yosaku. That's it.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on the fact that we never see them again. On one hand, I like it. It shows the scale of the world. On the other hand, unironically, I would be happy to see these guys again. And I agree, getting more of Zoro's backstory would be very cool.
It's a weird thing to never really expand on of him becoming a bounty hunter and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, transitioning to the actual thing we haven't talked about somehow. Yeah. Arlong.
True.
The main villain. This is like the first good villain One Piece has.
Yeah. What do you mean you're not a fan of that guy from Baratie that I can't remember right now? But he's in Ultimate Warfare.
Don Krieg.
3. Yeah.
Oh, dude, the funniest bit we've ever fucking done. Holy shit.
True.
That episode was fantastic. That was the most fun I've ever had recorded.
I agree, man. I agree. But yeah, how about you start this time? What do you think of Mr. Arlong of Arlong Park?
I think this is the first time Oda has done something interesting with a villain. Mm-hmm. Buggy is basically just a generic pirate who is written to be like decently funny and has a gimmick of being in a circus.
True.
Captain Kuro sucks so bad. Don Krieg sucks so bad. Mountain Bandit Higuma sucks so bad. Alvida is like a character I always forget about exists.
I do not remember that character. I won't lie.
You know what? Fair enough. Axe Hand Morgan. These are all characters who like genuinely you could erase from the story and change nothing. Arlong though, like he as a villain is tied in with like the emotional weight of the characters. When you see Luffy fight him, it like means something. You feel something. I think the world building he adds is very interesting of like mermaid people.
True. Is the implication that there's like other fishmen in the world? Or is like this the only pod of fishmen?
Oh, dude. Fishmen are a whole race. Not to... I don't want to give away too much, but like... Let's just say fans of world building are in for a special surprise.
Let's just say fans of the freaks are in for a little bit of a treat.
Let's just say Oda's character design is going to continue to be fucking weird.
That does bring a smile to my face.
But what are your thoughts?
I agree with everything you said. I really appreciate the fact that not only was Nami's backstory kind of held off on until this moment, but the fact that such a powerful character that's like really shaking up how we understand the world is inherently tied to her. I think that's a very strong choice. It both really characterizes Nami well, and you're right, like that when Luffy is fighting him, like I was genuinely like hooping and hollering and cheering as Luffy like landed blows and stuff like that. It was just cool to watch because like I don't know, I hate Arlong. I hope he dies.
Yeah, and I think his fighting style feels very like him being both like a fishman in general and a shark specifically comes up in his fighting style in a really interesting way. He's not just like Punchy McPuncherton. His like main thing is like his like nose and teeth, and like Luffy who steals his teeth. That's such a funny bit for them to do.
True. Luffy putting the teeth in his mouth. I love the bit. Yeah.
Oh my god, that shit was so funny.
I agree.
Or there's that really cool moment in which like he like bites Luffy's arm, and then he just like Luffy just fucking like slams him to the ground. That's like the coolest moment in the fight.
I agree. That was peak.
Him having a like cool saw sword is so hard for no reason.
I know. Yeah, his character design is interesting because it kind of his isn't very like freaky like the other fishmen, but it's like just weird enough that it's like I don't know, there's a good contrast between him. Like Don Krieg, I don't know. Not to keep talking bad about Don Krieg, but like his design is just so bad. And Arlong, I feel like his design is just it works both on like a character level and like thematically for what the fight is trying to do.
I don't know, man. I think this is just by Jove Oda's cooking.
I agree.
Also, I'm just going back through my screenshots of this final fight with Luffy, which is, by the way, easily the best fight so far.
Yes.
Is that a hot take?
No, I don't think so. It was so good.
I don't even think there's another like fight that we've seen that's like notable.
That's true. I guess maybe like, Don Krieg and Luffy, but like not really.
I kind of like that moment where Gin just one-shots Pearl. That's funny. There's a really good line where like Arlong is talking to Luffy and he's like, just what can you even possibly do? And Luffy goes, I can beat you.
I know.
Like, oh.
That's so
or there's that really fun moment where all of them are just like are sitting like are like now that Luffy has been like freed from the stone, he and Arlong get to finally fight. And like everyone's just like sitting down and like watching it happen because they're like, look, like Luffy's the only guy who can do this. I think that's so cool.
I agree. It's like a spectacle for both sides because like I don't know, man. They're right. Like these are two titans fighting.
It's so cool. These are like the two strongest motherfuckers in the East Blue, just throwing down.
Exactly. It's awesome.
I think Luffy just... This is a tour de force in Luffy character writing. I think, like, him breaking Arlong's sword because he's mad when he's like, yeah, I'm going to use Nami. And he's like, use.
I know. That's so good.
Ooh. Ooh. Arlong has, like, so many, like... I feel like it would have been so easy to make him have, like, one gimmick. But the fact that he has, like, a weird sword and, like, his nose and his teeth. Yeah. And, like, the water, like, missile stuff. Oh, like, there's so much going on.
Yeah, I agree. It's a sign of a good villain, man. Oda does not write... this is kind of an interesting point, actually. Like, Oda does not really write one-trick ponies very much.
Not really, yeah. Honestly, it's a great point.
Yeah.
I will say, this brings me to one of my very few complaints with this arc. I think Luffy getting stuck in the concrete and getting thrown in the water kind of sucks and drags the pacing down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I get why it happens, but, like, I don't know. It did kill the pacing for a couple of chapters, at least.
It was cool because it gave Sanji something to do.
Yeah.
But, like, every time I go back through this, like, arc, I either forget about it or go, like, ugh, this part.
Yeah. I think one notable criticism about that is that, like, the fact that Sanji's hype moment in Aura is just innately tied to a thing that sucks. That's a little bad.
Yeah.
But
there's that really cool moment of going back through my pictures. I remember this thing where, like, Arlong drops, like, a fucking pillar on them, and then he just, like, sticks his leg up, and then just shatters on his foot. That shit was rocking.
I agree. I mean, one thing I appreciate about the comical concrete block subplot is that we do kind of see Nojiko and Genzo put in some work.
Yeah, they get to do something.
Which I do appreciate that. I mean, I think it could be shorter, but I do appreciate that, like, they both get to directly advance, like, the progression of that fight.
I think that really does help. Like, the village coming together to help the Straw Hats and Nami does help the emotions of the arc, I will say.
Sure.
That's a good narrative choice.
I agree. I have one quick thing that I want to bring up before I forget, which is kind of a segue away from what we were just talking about. But I just have to bring up the fact that we see more of Kobe and Helmeppo. I was not expecting that at all.
I was gonna say we have two interesting stories in the cover the covers.
Because we see the end of the Buggy storyline, right?
Yes, he is rescued. We get to see that his crew is basically completely fractured without him, and they were, like, fighting for who gets to be in charge.
Which was very funny.
And ironically ended up being Richie, and then they got captured by slightly racist depictions of, like, tribal people, which, whatever.
True. That is tough.
And then Buggy comes back because he was saved by some mysterious, beautiful woman.
I know. That panel, I wish I had a picture of it, but the panel of, like, Buggy being saved by that voluptuous woman was very comical to me.
Especially because he's still a little, like, freak.
Yes.
He's not like his full self.
True.
It's great.
He was cooking with that.
And then we get the story of Helmeppo and Kobe on the Navy ship, and then Accent Morgan comes through, and it's just like a humongous dick.
Not in a million years was I expecting to see that. But I'm glad that I did. It's awesome, yeah. I didn't realize, like, I feel like in my predictions I was like, oh, Kobe's gonna come back, but I didn't even, like, think twice about Helmeppo. But seeing him again was fun.
Right? It's a weird little usage of the character. And this isn't something that you would have or probably should have noticed, but Captain Haxan Morgan attacks a Navy character in a, like, dog hat, and let's just say, those who are in the know, they know that guy.
I was gonna say, it is interesting to note that, like, the Navy was so in time. Maybe it even was a Navy guy with a dog hat that was, like, calling and saying, guys, we need to keep an eye out for this Luffy guy. Like, this guy's bad news. Oh,
was it? I thought it was the rat guy.
It was some guy with a weird hat. It might have been, like, a rat guy. I'm not sure. But there was a Navy guy with some kind of, like, animal hood that made a call to the Navy that was like, not the Navy, like that SpongeBob bit.
Not the Navy.
But, yeah, I thought that was an interesting little thing to include.
Is that chapter 95 or 96?
It was towards the end,
maybe
94.
Yeah. I'm almost positive that that's the rat guy who steals Nami's money.
Yes, you're right.
Which, by the way, really funny, like, minor antagonist.
I know. There's something about Oda's weird characters with animal like.
Oh my god!
things.
Speaking of Chew, I think that guy's like name is like Captain Chew or some shit.
Oh, interesting. That's funny.
Because he's a mouse. Because mouse is also Chew means mouse. It's mouse sound.
True.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. This guy. It's Nezumi is his name. Nezumi, which means
I
rat.
see. Okay, that makes sense.
And he does make the call that's like, hey, look out for this guy. He's an
Yeah.
asshole. I don't know. You said that you might read ahead from this arc. Did you, by the chance, read the chapter 96?
I actually did not. I decided to keep reading some Bleach. I apologize.
I think that... you're not going to see me disagree with that. Well, the reason I just checked it, and I'm like, wait a minute. Chapter 96 is goated.
I'm excited to check it out. Should we get into some little predictions? Talk about looking ahead.
I was going to say, let's wrap up our little, the structure known as the wonderful, beautiful bingo card. What are your predictions, sir?
I think I purposely try to not look at the volume covers because I saw that they say what like saga it is.
That's why.
I feel like this next arc is probably when we're gonna move out of East Blue though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure, but I would like to see that. And I'm very interested to see like a big naval conflict now. Now that Luffy is like finally getting his up and ups in the pirate world. I'm excited to see more though. I think this definitely felt like it was a nice bow for like the first nice way to wrap up the first little saga.
Can I give you a slight spoiler?
Of course.
So basically, you can kind of break down the several arcs of One Piece into sagas, and the next arc we're gonna do is one called Log Town.
Okay.
It's and the reason it's called that is because it's the end of the prologue of One Piece, because it is the end of the East Blue arc.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So basically after the next arc, we will be done with the first like major like section of One Piece, and we can like talk about like the whole thing in reflection.
Yeah. That's cool.
And honestly, the next arc is like probably the most underrated arc in all of One Piece. I think it's like one of my favorite little Scrungle arcs.
I'm excited to read it. I feel like I'm intrigued that there's more to like this first saga because I feel like this is like kind of a good way to end it. But I'm intrigued to see.
It's good. Trust me, it's very good.
I trust your opinion, my friend.
Any other predictions, my friend?
I don't think so, but I'm excited to hear more about your reflections.
My reflections, the thing that completely blew me away is I can't believe how effective the world building is here. Obviously, this is something that you and where you are can't appreciate, but like for the knowers in the chat, the thing that especially completely like made my jaw drop is Johnny and Yosaku are talking. I think it's just one of them, the one who's with Sanji and Luffy. Yep. They're like, Mihawk is one of the seven warlords, who's like one of the three like major powers in the world. And I was like, oh shit, we're bringing that up like now? Like, the three major powers that sort of rule the seas are like something that are still important, that are like still extremely important like right now in chapter 1160.
That's cool.
So it was so cool that got set up in like chapter like 60.
Yeah. That is sick.
I was geeked. I was like, no way they're dropping their names dropping that three major powers, dog.
That's a cool little seed to sow.
Oh yeah, 7 warlords, baby, 7 warlords, and like the fishmen and like everyone. I'm not gonna say much, but like for all the knowers in the chat, like the stuff with the pirates and you know how it is, you know. I think there's a lot of really 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 good setup that is like not too like in your face, but not like too subtle. It's really good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Belmare is just some of Oda's. Maybe just some of his best character work in general, which is maybe a little bold to say, but easily some of the best. This flashback is so tight and so good, and like immediately sells every character and characterizes Nami so well. My grand take on this episode is that this is like the most efficient One Piece is by this point, like is and maybe will ever be. Like this is just such efficient like use of every character is used well. Every emotional beat is like. It's just so good. Yeah. I would say this is an arc with no fat, but the whole little section of Luffy getting trapped underwater low-key sucks. But
that's true.
It just feels so like I think One Piece being 1,000 chapters goddamn long requires there to be some fat along the way, and I think the fat is good and important.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And But it is nice to see like a tight One Piece arc in which everything just like is well paced and everyone has a purpose and like it all like feels so like narratively compelling. It's so good. This is just good, healthy One Piece. This brings us to our last section, kind of talking about the one thing I didn't like. What are your complaints?
I honestly don't. I kind of mentioned this in my complaint departments, but I didn't really have any major complaints. I do think, like, if we really break down some of the moments, like, maybe the balance between the humor and the drama didn't always work for me. But honestly, like, it worked a lot better for me than it did in Baratier. So, I don't know. I have very few complaints. I agree, though, that the
it's honestly really bad in Baratier.
That's true. That's kind of it.
I think that's very fair. My complaints are... I think my only complaint is, A, the concrete block stuff sucks a little bit.
Yeah.
And also not enough Moo, a.k.a.
True.
Goat, a.k.a. Cap.
True.
But I think that a lot of people talk about this arc in a way where it's like, by the way, this is the GOAT. This is like one of the greatest arcs ever. And going back through it all these years later, I don't know if I agree that this is like the GOAT. I mean, no one says this is the best One Piece arc, just so we're clear. Yeah. There's a lot more up from here.
That's good to hear.
But I sort of feel like in my mind's eye, I held this arc in higher regard than like what I feel now actually going back through it. But not by like a lot.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
It was still good. It was very good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like S tier.
That's fair. I
think this is just like a low A.
Yeah.
But like it's an A's an A.
True. That's passing, baby.
That's
more than passing.
Let's just say perfect accidental transition into the final segment, which is, Wesley, what would you give this arc overall?
I gave...
What rank?
Mr. Arlong Park an A rating. How about you, sir?
I gave it a respectable A minus, which is my highest rank so far.
I believe it's either my highest or tied for highest. This was we're cooking, man. This is some good stuff.
It's just the best arc so far, like bar none. Which, by the way, the post-arc discussion thing I want to do is please pull up these Lego sets and let's talk about them, because now you've seen them all.
Sounds good. I might stop recording, and we can do like a separate little side video.
Okay.
Just so that works for you, because
So should I stop recording as well?
Maybe. Let's do like a little outro for this one, and then we can kind of jump into the Lego one, if that works for you.
Okay. Oh God, what kind of outro should we do?
We could just kind of riff on the ending. All right.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in to this episode, and check out our little side video coming up about the Lego sets, the big beautiful Lego sets.
If you're interested in us shooting the shit and doing more bits, you should definitely check out last episode, in which we've spent 90% of the episode not talking about the art.
And let's just say fans of Baratier and discussions about Baratier are in for maybe a bit of a curveball, a little bit. Let's just say fans of basketball, Marvel vs. Capcom, Carl's Jr., amongst other things, are going to be very happy.
This concludes episode 4 of Monkey D. Luffy versus the World. I'm your host, Reece.
I'm Wesley. Remember, on your way out, to please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Ring-a-ding, ring-a-ding-ling.
Ring-a-ding-ding, baby. Ring-a-ding-ding.
Ring that bell.
Mission 1 of Fallout New Vegas.
Yes.